Hey guys, today we're looking at the last of our ConicArt work. You saw in the last video that we were looking at the three-dimensional cones and making some really beautiful artwork out of them. This is the second of the two art projects. This one actually involves a graph and graph paper, as you can see over here. So I'm going to show you how to construct these. Now again, I will have to show you this example so you know where we're going with this. I warn you, people have phobias with what I'm about to show you, but you have to see the final product to know exactly what's going on. So here we go. This is an example of a conic graph, okay? I have to say, I love getting people's reactions to this every year because, again, I don't need to tell all of you. Some of you know that people have phobias with clowns, but I don't, so I use this as an example. But I want to reassure you, you do not have to do a clown if you don't want to. So you can see that everything in here is a conic section or a portion of a conic section. And each specific piece of the face or parts of the whole picture are a conic section or a line in some way. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So let me just show you, or kind of revisit again. So let's look at the next page. This is one page of the equation. So it's up at the top here, it says the eyes, the circles are these equations, the parabolas are specific equations, and so on. So you can see that right here. And then it goes through and it lists each bullet point. So this particular one is very detailed. It has a lot going on in it. It has 3 pages of equations. So remember that this is the second of 3 extra credit opportunities. You all have been taking the STAR test very, very patiently this past couple days, and so if you do a really good job on this, there is some extra credit available. So let me show you how to go about doing this. Okay, so the very first thing you need to put on your paper are your X and Y axes. Okay, so the vertical one, that's always the Y. The horizontal is the X. So let's go ahead and put that on here first. Make sure you label them. You always want to label X and Y. Now, if you really want to, I figured it was going to be a little bit easier to put the X and Y axes as close to in the center of the page as possible, but you could always do them over to the left if you don't like those lines running through your picture. All right, so let's say I'm going to do a face. Again, you don't have to do that in your own if you don't want to, but that includes a lot of these shapes. So here we go. Let's say, or we'll start out like this. Let's say I want to have an eye right here. And I want another one, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the right of the y-axis. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the left of the y-axis as well. And that's where the eyes are going to be centered. So we know in an eye we have the pupil is the very inside part, and then the iris, and then the outer part. So if we want to start with the pupil, here's what we're going to do. So let's say that the pupil is that big on both of these. So we are looking at a circle that has a radius of about 1/2. Okay, we need a separate equations page, so here's where we're going to go. Let me move this over a little bit. I'll make sure you guys can see it still. I know that I've been not the greatest with that in the past, but all right, so we're going to list our equations on a separate piece of paper. So let's start with the eyes. I'm only going to show you a few of these so that you get the hang of it, okay? But this is how you can go about doing it for all of them. So remember, we know that if you have a circle with a center somewhere other than 0, 0, the equation is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay, so again, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. It might be good to have general equations for all of the conic sections on hand, so you can just go through and fill in the missing information. So in this one, we went to the right, from 0, 0, we went to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the coordinates of the center are 7, 8. So x minus 7 squared plus y minus 8 squared equals, and again, the radius from here to here is about 1/2, if I'm counting each of these grid lines as 1 unit, equals 1/2 squared. Or, okay, we're going to say that this is the right pupil. You actually want to label these so that I can see what you're doing here. Okay, so that's, if you make sure you fully simplify, so plus y minus 8 squared equals 1/4. So there you go. There's one of them. And then once you have it in there, you can color it in. Okay, then if we move over to the other one is the same exact thing except, let's move this over again, except that the x-coordinate is negative. So it's -7, +8 to get to that point, which means the way that this should be modified, here, let's do this. The way that this should be modified is x minus -7, which turns into x plus 7 squared, plus y minus 8 squared equals 1/4. So that is the beauty of having a face or some sort of symmetrical object. It makes it go a little quicker. So this is the left pupil. I would recommend going through and putting all of these shapes in here first, and then go back and do the coloring afterwards. Okay, so let's say we want to do, again, a clown that has a lot of geometric shapes in it, so it's easier for me to do. Let's say that I want to put the iris in next, and let's say that I want the same center, because most of us have irises that are directly around the pupil, so it's going to look something like that on both of those. So the thing that changed here from the pupil to the iris is that the center is the same and the radius is now 1. So if I go back over here, I can then say, okay, so this one's the right pupil, this is the left pupil. Just realized you can't really see that very well. But now if I want to do the right iris, because the center and everything is the same as the right pupil, the only thing that's going to change is that the radius is not 1/2 anymore, the radius is 1. So this becomes x minus 7 squared plus y minus 8 squared equals 1, or 1 squared, which is 1. And then same exact thing for the left pupil, except the center is at -7, +8. So x plus 7 squared plus y minus 8 squared equals 1, and that is the left iris. Okay, so let's just leave it like that for now. For the eyes, let's go ahead and put a clown nose in there next. So I put my eyes here based on the idea that the nose was going to be centered around here. So in my original example I had an elliptical nose, so you can see what it looks like as an ellipse. Let's say I want it to be, you want to put in what the corners are, so let's see, just like that. So my nose is going to be this shape. Okay, so remember if I'm moving on here, let's move that over to the side a little bit, just make sure you all can see this. So nose is next. So the nose, what you would do is, the center of this one is at 0, 0. So remember, for an ellipse, standard form is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. And A and B represent the number of units you go left and right. Whatever's under the X is how many you go left and right. Whatever is underneath the Y is how many you go up and down from the center. But again, if this was centered somewhere other than 0, 0, you would have to incorporate this minus H minus K piece with the X and Y's in the numerators. So let's say, all right, we only have one nose here, or one component of the nose, so this one's going to be pretty easy. X squared over, we went 1, 2, 3, 4 units left and right, plus y squared over, we went 2 up and 2 down from the center, equals 1, which is the same thing as x squared over 16 plus y squared over 4 equals 1. All right, so there we go with that. So we're good so far. Let me move this back to the center. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 more things here. Let's say we wanted to do a mouth next. And I'm just going to draw, let's see, make sure I'm doing symmetrical here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's good. A straight line for the top of the mouth. And then let's say that I wanted to do, let's say this is the bottom of the mouth, and remember with parabolas, this next one is going to be a parabola, that what we're doing is we go left one and right one and up about a half to figure out what our A coefficient is. So something like that. Okay, so like that. So there's our mouth. And here's the way that we do this. Okay, you can see that we only have a portion of a parabola and a portion of a straight line for the top of the mouth. So you actually have to designate that in your equations. And this is going to be the last piece that I show you, okay? So for the mouth. But again, the more in depth you go on these, the more points you're going to get, the better your grade's going to be. And remember, extra credit. Everybody always asks me at the end of the semester when they're right on the edge, what can I do? And do it now. Okay, so here we go. All right, so this remember, okay, so this is cutting through the y-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have the line y equals -5. That represents this horizontal piece. But the thing is, it's only going from this point to this point. Okay, so it's going from, let's see, in the left and right direction, it's going left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going from -6 all the way to +6. Okay, so the way we would denote that is x is less than or equal to 6 and greater than or equal to -6. What that encompasses is the fact that it cuts off right here and right here. Okay, then for the parabola, so we have to think back to, we studied parabolas a while ago. We haven't had a chance to revisit them yet with our conic sections unit, but the way that it works is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So h and k, again, that's the, in this case, the vertex. So our vertex here is at 0, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0, negative 10. So we actually are going to go ahead and put that in. X minus 0 squared plus -10. That's the k piece. And then our a, remember that's the part where we went right one, up 1/2, left one, up 1/2. So our a is positive 1/2. So the way that this looks after it's fully simplified is 1/2 times x squared minus 10. But again, I'm going to leave that open. Oops, let's just put a bar around here so we know what we're doing here. Okay, but again, here's the thing, is that this only goes from y equals -10 all the way up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. So we have to specify that. So y is less than or equal to and greater than or equal. So it's greater than or equal to -10 all the way to -5. Okay? And then you can include any other shapes you want. So this is obviously not completely done. There's a lot more you could do here, but you can see how a page of equations gets filled up really, really quickly. Again, the more time and effort you put into it, the more energy that's invested, and the more equations that you have, the more detail, the more points you're going to get. So if you have any other questions about this, we can go through those in class, and I hope you're all enjoying the ConicArt unit, and I will see you tomorrow.